What is Epstein? What is the Epstein case? What is happening on Epstein Island? The case files related to businessman Jeffrey Epstein, who was accused of child sexual abuse in the US and committed suicide in prison, caused a great resonance all over the world. Arrested for sexually abusing girls under 18 and establishing a prostitution network, Jeffrey Epstein was found dead in prison in 2019, and the Turkey detail in the documents related to the case became one of the most talked about topics on social media. In the files containing blood-freezing allegations, there are revelations ranging from princes to artists, politicians to Mossad. So, what is the Epstein case? How did it come out? What is happening on Epstein Island? Who is Jeffrey Epstein and what is Epstein? The case files related to businessman Jeffrey Epstein, who was accused of child sexual abuse in the USA and committed suicide in prison, dropped like a bomb on the agenda. According to the documents in which he allegedly blackmailed famous people, Epstein refuses to answer the questions directed to him hundreds of times. In his sworn statement in 2016, Epstein used the right to silence at least 500 times in the face of questions about whether he tried to blackmail Prince Andrew. According to victim Jane's testimony, Jeffrey Epstein allegedly brought young girls from Turkey, the Czech Republic, and Asian countries. What is the Epstein case after these developments? What is happening on Epstein Island? Answers to the questions began to be sought. What is the Epstein incident? The case files of Epstein, who was tried on charges of sexually abusing dozens of girls under the age of 18, the youngest of whom was 14, and creating a prostitution network, and who was found dead in prison while in custody, and the details of the events are much talked about. Jeffrey Epstein was detained in the U.S. state of Florida in 2005 for allegedly giving money to have sexual intercourse with a 14-year-old girl. Although many underage girls claimed that Epstein and his friends sexually abused them, the court found Epstein guilty of sexually abusing a single person in 2008. The billionaire received a 13-month sentence after his conviction. After New York prosecutors found Epstein guilty of creating a prostitution network in 2019, the billionaire was found dead in prison while in custody. Prosecutor Virginia Giuffre testified in 2016 that she was paid $10,000 and $15,000 in exchange for a relationship with Britain's Prince Andrew. Prince Andrew had previously claimed that he had never met Giuffre. Giuffre also stated that a media organization paid him $160,000 for 2 articles and a photograph of him with Prince Andrew. Giuffre also stated in his statement that he did not have a relationship with any president, but claimed that he was forced to have a relationship with a well-known president. Other names Giuffre claims he was coerced into having an affair with include Harvard law professor Alan Dershowitz, Victoria's Secret owner Les Wexner, hedge fund owner Glenn Dubin, and former U.S. Special Envoy to the Middle East George Mitchell. The names in question had previously denied the allegations against them. In December, Judge Loretta Preska ruled that the documents should be made public as part of the defamation lawsuit filed by abused Virginia Giuffre against Maxwell in 2015. The published documents included statements about names such as Prince Andrew of England, former U.S. President Bill Clinton, Donald Trump, and famous singer Michael Jackson. In the records, it was revealed that there were allegations that Epstein had tapes of Clinton, Prince Andrew, and British businessman Sir Richard Branson. 1. The latest documents, consisting of 250 pages, were taken from the lawsuit filed in 2015 against Epstein's girlfriend Ghislaine Maxwell, who was also his partner and sentenced to 20 years in prison on charges of recruiting girls under the age of 18 for their network. 2. In these documents, the victim, Sarah Ransom, claims that she saw Epstein in possession of sex tapes of former U.S. President Bill Clinton, Donald Trump, as well as Britain's Prince Andrew and billionaire businessman Sir Richard Branson, and that he even copied the tapes. 3. In 2016, Ransom told the New Yorker magazine that he had completely fabricated these allegations. 4. In 2018, he settled with Epstein and Maxwell for undisclosed damages. 5. In an interview with ITV yesterday, he said, "I said that because I was scared at the time. I'm sure those tapes are somewhere." However, he cannot provide any evidence of the tapes he claims to have copied. How did Jeffrey Epstein die? U.S. billionaire businessman Jeffrey Epstein was sent to prison after being brought before a judge in federal court in New York on July 6, 2019 on charges of sexual abuse against dozens of underage girls between 2002 and 2005. Epstein committed suicide in prison on August 10, 2019. Ghislaine Maxwell, daughter of British media mogul Robert Maxwell, was sentenced to 20 years in prison for her role in Epstein's crimes. Let's come to the Turkey allegation. In the documents released last week, file number 1328, victim's lawyer Catherine W. Azel asks the following questions to Epstein's private pilot Nadia Marcinko in cross-examination on April 13, 2010. Question 1. Did you know that the 15-year-old victim Jane was issued passports by Jeffrey Epstein or Ghislaine Maxwell and taken to Palm Beach, New York, Santa Fe, Los Angeles, San Francisco, St. Louis, Europe, the Caribbean, and Africa? Question 2. According to victim Jane's testimony, Jeffrey Epstein allegedly brought young girls from Turkey, the Czech Republic, and Asian countries. Were you aware of this? Question 3. Was Jeffrey Epstein involved in the international sex child labor trade? Marcinko does not answer these questions.